Hey guys, I am in Sydney, Nova Scotia, at my hotel for the night. Actually, probably the next 2 nights, because I hear that the causeway is getting closed at 6 p.m. this evening, and it will be closed until Sunday. So they're closing the causeway. There's only one way back to mainland Nova Scotia, Halifax, and that is across the causeway, the Canso Causeway, and they're closing it. So I'm stuck on the Cape Breton Island here for the entirety of the storm. Now I've decided I'm going to just risk the causeway not being damaged by staying here in Sydney, because it does look like the storm has tracked further to the east now. Earlier today it looked like the causeway would be the center of the storm, mainland, and maybe even over the mainland part, like right there, right where it actually splits, it looked like would be the center of the storm. And now that's all changed and it's shifted back to the east now, originally where I planned to ride it out here in Sydney, Nova Scotia. And so I've decided I'm gonna risk it, as I need to get back out of here as fast as I can, because we've got another hurricane brewing, potentially another major hurricane, but this time down in Florida. So I gotta get down to Florida as soon as possible after this chase and go get that hurricane next. But that one still that's still down the road a few days. But right now we are chasing currently Hurricane Fiona, which has just passed by Bermuda today, early today, to northwest of Bermuda, accelerating northwards, interacting with a trough of low pressure that's making its way east across Canada. It's made its way east across Canada, and it's now merging with Fiona, and it's going to really enhance its post-tropical cyclone transition. So right now, tropical cyclone, it'll convert to post-tropical, it'll lose its tropical features, it'll get a colder core, expand out into a wide wind field, kind of similar to Superstorm Sandy in 2012. It's all almost textbook, exactly the same scenario unfolding here. But I am tracking the storm here, watching the path. It looks like it'll come through maybe a little east-south, or south of, not east, I guess it's south of, what is it? Lewisburg. South of Lewisburg, Nova Scotia. Along the coast there, down towards Canso, but past Canso now, it looks like, oh, I need to get over turning lane on. It doesn't look like Canso will be on the west side of the storm. Strongest winds of the storm will be on the eastern side of the storm, the right quadrant of the storm, where you'll find those strongest winds and heavy rain along the path of the storm. And storm surge will be the highest along that right edge, so it could get really nasty in Lewisburg tonight. So that's where I'm headed right now. I'm going to take a little drive, a scouting trip here to the east towards Lewisburg. It's about half an hour drive or so. Go out there right now, see if the sea is very rough or not. Because right now here in Sydney, it's actually quite calm. It's very still. There's been a light, steady rain all day, so it's really wet here. And it's just kind of an eerie calm before the storm. Things are going to really deteriorate tonight as this vicious, ferocious Fiona comes ashore tonight. Here is Nova Scotia. I'll turn the camera around, and we're going to take a little drive here out to Lewisburg. I think they'll be good. Here there's big waves that happen there in Lewisburg, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on there right now. As I said, I mentioned, it's very calm here. Now, the winds will start coming out of the east. Will shift out of an northeasterly direction along the coast here tonight as the storm approaches, makes landfall. Yeah, I expect we'll see widespread power outages here in Cape Breton Island, all the way down to Halifax. They'll be having power outages down there, down trees and down power lines. There's lots of trees and power lines here in Nova Scotia, so I expect multiple days potentially of power outages, and possibly, worst case scenario, the causeway gets battered by waves and washes away, and I'm stuck here on the island until they fix the causeway, which I have no idea how long that would take or what that would entail. Because there's no ferry, can't get a ferry. I guess my other option would be to try and catch a ferry. I just now thought of this. Worst case scenario option would be to catch a ferry to Newfoundland after the storm and drop off my rental car there if I can. I don't even know if I can do that, but we'll drop it off there and catch a flight from St. John's to wherever I need to go. But I'm really hoping the storm misses to the east mostly, and it's not as bad there at the causeway, and the causeway doesn't get destroyed. Because that would really suck. I don't want to miss a major hurricane in Florida. That would really suck. So currently 25 minutes from Lewisburg. This area is under hurricane warning. It has been since this morning. I believe Halifax would be under a tropical storm warning, but I don't know 100% that is fact. But I believe Halifax is under a tropical storm warning right now. Oh, do they have the hurricane warning all the way down to Halifax too? I guess they were going off of that previous further west track. So now if it shifts to the east, they may reduce that to tropical storm warning. But we'll see. It would be better for the whole of Nova Scotia for this thing to shift to the east and be centered through the Sydney area. It'd suck for Sydney, and Newfoundland would be in the strongest winds then most likely as well. Newfoundland. Michelle was trying to teach me how to say that the other day. Silent D. Newfoundland. I was saying Newfoundland. Newfoundland. It's a big time storm coming here to Canada, y'all. This is like it's a historic storm in the making here. There's an airport here in Sydney as well, but I don't know if I can drop my rental car off here or not. I just leave it here and tell them it was stolen, because I have the full coverage for it anyway, and they can just come pick it up. Fly out of Sydney if I have to. I just talked to some pilots in the airport, or sorry, in the hotel. They were just getting ready to fly out, flying out ahead of the storm. Tucson, Arizona, I was just chasing good monsoon storms there the other day, or a couple weeks ago. spots of rain already piling up here on the highways. It's sucking me all over the place. Some low spots in the road here, right where all the cars usually drive. If you're just tuning in, I'm here in Nova Scotia, just outside Sydney, Nova Scotia, headed east to Lewisburg, Nova Scotia, which is right along the eastern coast of Nova Scotia. We're currently under hurricane warning here, and it looks like Fiona could come right through this area late tonight, into the early morning hours. It's looking like maybe like a 3 a.m. or so landfall tonight. So, and then a long day tomorrow of just being battered here by strong winds as this thing unwinds over Nova Scotia, drifts out to the north towards New Brunswick, and then out over the open water up there. It's cold waters up there in northern Canada. So it's gonna be it's gonna get pretty bad here, I think, tonight in the Sydney area. To east to Lewisburg, down to Canso Causeway. The Cape Breton Islands is gonna be pretty rough tonight. Strong winds, definitely gonna probably lose power for at least parts of the island, if not the entire island. Worst case scenario, could lose that causeway from bad waves and surge, and I'm hoping that does not happen. I'm hoping that storm is well to the east of the causeway, and the causeway stays intact. And we'll see what happened here with this storm coming through tonight. Monster storm is possibly a historic storm tonight, coming into Atlantic Canada. Yeah, gonna be some spotty cell services. I make my way to the east towards the coast, so at least to like Lewisburg, I think. One of the things I might try and do while I'm down here is figure out where I think the storm may make landfall, and then deploy my Kestrel weather meter somewhere where I can try and get the lowest pressure ever recorded here in Canada on my Kestrel. Hello, Phil. Thank you for subscribing. looks like we're coming up on the coast here. Let's see. Still got 20 kilometers. Oh no, there's just there's a channel coming up through here. Lewisburg, 19 kilometers. Lewisburg. In the boonies up here. Coconut Girl. PayPal works too, then they don't take out a cut. It's just aaronjjack@gmail.com. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thanks for asking. We're going to be live streaming. This is you guys are just joining in, I'm on my way to Lewisburg, Nova Scotia, or I was just in Sydney, going east, 29 minutes. I've only got about maybe 10 minutes left on the trip now. But we're headed over here to scout out what Lewisburg looks like, see if the winds have picked up, if we got big waves here yet or not. and also see if we can hone in on a spot where the center of the storm might make landfall, and potentially deploy my Kestrel weather meter there with the pressure, collecting pressure data, so we can capture the lowest recorded pressure ever make landfall this far north and into Canada. So potentially a historic storm here this evening, late this evening into tomorrow morning. The other neat thing, this has already been an awesome chase. I got to meet the legendary Frankie McDonald earlier today. I went to where he works at the mall here in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and it was amazing to meet him and get to do a video report with him. And you can see the video report on my Twitter page, but I do plan to eventually incorporate it into my future video about this chase that I'll put here on YouTube. So it was pretty incredible to meet Frankie. I'm a big Frankie fan. Frankie is a national treasure of Canada. Only a few minutes from Lewisburg now, guys. There's the bots. Bots. Hello, Virginia Wolf. Welcome back. Wolf, that they believe is the newest member. Hey, Miss Sheila told me that someone was complaining that I became a member and I didn't their harmonica riff. So if you guys know who it is and they're on, you let me know. I do have my harmonica with me. Oh no, I left it back in my hotel. So I'll have to do that later. Hey, Michelle RS, thank you so much. I just got that on PayPal. I appreciate that very, very much. Michelle RS just sent $50 to support the channel, you guys. Round of applause. I was mentioning earlier, and then the service went out. It's more expensive to do this Nova Scotia chase than it was if I was gonna get Fiona and Bermuda. Believe it or not, it's crazy. It's really expensive. The most expensive part was one, the airfare, and then because it was last minute, I think, and two was the rental car. The rental car was almost the same amount as the airfare. It's ridiculous. It's like double the rental that I would pay in the United States. Okay, so this is downtown Lewisburg here. Let's see if we can find my ocean view. Tons of rain coming down here in Lewisburg. Heavy rain just offshore. It's about to get heavier. Could get flooding before the hurricane even gets here. Little grocery store and laundromat there. Lewisburg, Nova Scotia. Fortress Lewisburg a little further south. There's the lighthouse. Lighthouse is right there. Yeah, no thunder. I can see waves breaking out there in the distance. The waves breaking out there. So this road, there is a road that runs along the coast. Let's back up to Sydney. On the other side, back up to Sydney. Just kind of looking for where I might need to deploy the Kestrel weather meter, you guys. Maybe down by like Fort Chew. Fort Chew, maybe. How long does it take to drive down there? It's an hour drive to Fort Chew. You gotta go way back. Oh no, not too far back. Fort Chew or maybe Frambois. How do you get to Frambois? It's an hour there as well. Or I might need to go to Saint Esprit, and that's an hour and 20 minutes. Same route, just a little further down the coast. Okay, guys, I think we should head towards. Let me just look at the latest mile run. Yeah, let's head down towards Saint Esprit. Saint Esprit, Nova Scotia. That's the farthest we may need to go. And I want to get this Kestrel ready to go. Altitude. We're at 129 feet here in altitude. Here's the Kestrel, guys. I'm gonna start recording pressure data here soon, and we're gonna deploy it somewhere where I can try and come back and retrieve it on Sunday. I'm just looking up some things. I want to make sure it doesn't shut itself off. Okay. I know how to set the altitude now.